For the first 30 seconds of this video, you need to know one thing very clearly, because everything that follows becomes much worse once you understand it. This is not a story about a movie, this is not a legend meant to scare teenagers, and this is not something that stopped happening years ago. In this video, you will discover why witnesses swear Annabelle changes position when no one is watching, why cameras have failed at the exact moments she should not have moved, why people who mocked the case later refuse to talk about it again, and why some objects are not haunted in the way you expect, but rather actively aware of your attention, waiting for the moment you look away. By the end of this video, you may question whether simply knowing about Annabelle is already an invitation. Annabelle does not look dangerous, and that is precisely the problem, because true horror rarely announces itself with claws, fangs, or shadows crawling on walls, but instead hides behind soft fabric-painted smiles and the unsettling comfort of something that should never feel alive. The original Annabelle was not porcelain, not cracked, and not visually sinister, but a simple Raggedy Ann doll left in a room where nothing unusual was supposed to happen, until people began noticing that nothing stayed the same when they returned. The doll appeared in different positions, its legs crossed when they had been straight, its arms resting where gravity alone could not have placed them, and small details that felt too intentional to be accidental, as if the object was responding to observation itself. What makes Annabelle terrifying is not sudden violence, but patience, because according to documented accounts, the activity did not escalate quickly, and instead unfolded slowly, allowing skepticism to grow alongside fear, creating the perfect conditions for disbelief to become vulnerability. Notes began appearing on parchment-like paper that did not exist in the apartment. Messages that looked childlike but felt deeply wrong, as though something was learning how to communicate rather than speaking naturally. Over time, these movements stopped feeling random and began feeling reactive, as if Annabelle was not simply moving, but choosing moments when attention was elsewhere, when rooms were empty, and when certainty had weakened. Investigators would later describe Annabelle not as a haunted object but as a manipulated one, a physical anchor used by something that did not belong in the human world, something incapable of existing without a vessel, something that required belief, curiosity, and proximity to grow stronger. This distinction matters, because a haunted object implies a passive presence, while Annabelle represented an active strategy, a focal point designed to invite interaction, sympathy, and attachment. The more harmless the doll appeared, the easier it became to underestimate what was attached to it. There are accounts of people entering rooms where Annabelle was secured behind glass, only to find subtle differences in her posture moments later. Changes so small they could be dismissed individually, but terrifying when recognized as a pattern. Some visitors reported an overwhelming pressure in their chest, sudden headaches, or an intense urge to look away from the doll, followed immediately by the sensation of being watched once they did. Others laughed, took photos, and treated the encounter as entertainment, only to experience vivid nightmares, recurring thoughts, and unexplained fear in the days that followed, as though something had followed them home, not physically, but psychologically. The most disturbing element of the Annabelle case is the consistency of one specific claim repeated by unrelated witnesses across different years and locations, all describing the same idea without prompting: that Annabelle does not move when you are watching her, but waits until you are distracted, until your guard lowers, until your certainty fades. This suggests not random supernatural activity, but awareness, an understanding of human behavior, and an ability to exploit it. Fear becomes stronger not when something moves in front of you, but when you realize it prefers you not notice at all. Psychologists have attempted to explain the phenomenon through suggestion and expectation. Yet these explanations fail when confronted with physical evidence. Unexplained marks, damaged cases, and reports from individuals who were initially unaware of Annabelle's reputation. In several cases, people encountered the doll without prior knowledge and still described the same sensations of unease, pressure, and the feeling that something had shifted while they were not looking directly at it. The human brain may create fear, but it does not synchronize it across strangers without shared context. Annabelle's story grows darker when examining what happened to those who openly challenged the warnings, those who dismissed the danger as superstition and chose to provoke the doll. Reports describe sudden accidents, unexplained illnesses, and intense emotional breakdowns following such encounters. Events that skeptics later struggled to rationalize once patterns emerged. Whether coincidence or consequence, the timing was always unsettlingly precise, as though curiosity itself had triggered something that preferred not to be questioned. What truly elevates this case beyond typical horror is the idea that Annabelle does not need to chase, attack, or threaten, because influence is far more effective than force. Fear that grows quietly lasts longer, doubt weakens defenses, and attention acts as permission. This is why warnings surrounding Annabelle are consistent: not to touch, not to mock, and not to invite interaction, because interaction acknowledges presence, and presence gives power. As time passed, Annabelle became less about movement and more about atmosphere, the sense that something in the room was slightly misaligned with reality, that silence carried weight, and that the doll existed not as an object but as a marker for something watching through it. This perception is what lingers long after the details fade, because it suggests that Annabelle's horror is not confined to glass cases or locked rooms, but tied to the act of attention itself. By the end of this story, the question is no longer whether Annabelle is real, but whether awareness alone is enough to establish a connection, whether simply knowing what she represents allows something to observe you in return. Objects do not need to move violently to terrify, they only need to change when you are not looking, because that is when certainty collapses and imagination fills the gap with something far worse than what the eyes can see. If this story unsettled you, if you felt tension building instead of fading, and if you now find yourself thinking about what might be behind you when you look away, then this video has done exactly what it was meant to do. Subscribe to the channel for more true horror stories that blur the line between legend and reality. Leave a comment sharing whether you believe Annabelle moves on her own, and share this video with someone who thinks they are not easily scared, because some stories do not need to jump at you to follow you home.